When last we left our heroes, Danir the Catman Wizard and Wolfgang the Angelic Warlock had begun their efforts to rebuild the city of Silver Rock, with Wolfgang having been newly anointed as the realm's new lord, while Asmo the Snackman Fighter and Nara the Drow Sorceress saw to a disturbance in the swamps Asmo used to call home. The disturbance turned out to be none other than the distraught Wither, the Archfey of Autumn. With a gentle hand, Nara was able to talk Wither down before she could tear a portal into the realm of death itself in an attempt to bring her martyred mother back to life. Asmo and Nara found a new home for the lost Fae, with her patron and creator Fleetfoot deep in the Hexwood, and a new foster mother in the kindly Maggie. Their efforts reignited a spark in the docile god of nature, who gave them a magical acorn to plant in Silver Rock, allowing the god a foothold in lands he hasn't visited in many years. Joining a crew of workers from Fallwood Barrow, Asmo and Nara traveled to Silver Rock to reunite with their companions. But they weren't the only people traveling to Silver Rock, as a flock of familiar paper-white birds made their way into town and revealed themselves to be promotional posters for none other than the Wandering Weasel.
Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing a live show now.
It happens.
The Wandering Weasel touring live show? It's about time. We've only seen their internet production.
I gotta keep you on your toes, you know?
Well, finally, that's how we can reach new heights.
All right. The workers by now have gotten to work. They've had their food. They've been given proper instruction on where their efforts would be best divided. You can tell that the people that traveled here to do labor aren't exactly happy, but they're doing their work and they know that they'll be paid for the effort.
I'm just imagining them as all mining in sync. Tink, tink, tink. I'm trying to imagine what a fantasy working song would be.
You'd have to ask a bard. There's none in the party.
That's true. Damn.
I was there, but now I am not.
Now you have left.
Damn bog bird.
Rude.
Right.
What? No, he's not there.
Further, the triage has been set up for all of the injured and wounded that came from Wild's Edge. You got a lot of healers tending to the most wounded, others just being rested, and others just being given shelter. A lot of people just in dire need of shelter and space, and they are very, very thankful for the aid that you have provided them.
What time of day did we see the letters? What time of day did we last leave off the stream?
As of right now, it's probably mid-afternoon, early evening.
Okay, almost dinner time. Okay, good. I'm just scratching. I'm scratching my chin right now.
Further, Wolfgang and Danir, you know that tonight is going to be the ritual for releasing all of these souls trapped within the gem that was once nested in the cannon within the tower. So there's going to be a little ceremony for that later on in the evening.
Damn.
But for right now, the day is yours.
Voice paralysis.
Oh no, this is what I was like. All right, you guys can do whatever you want. That's not. No, this is dangerous.
Yeah. We're gonna take one step and it's all gonna implode.
And demon incursion.
That's what it feels like.
I mean, like, no one ever expects a demon incursion. No one goes like, "There's a demon incursion happening in 2 weeks here. I'm looking forward to it." I plan to have my week all set up and prepared for it.
That's true.
Oh God, Bosch goes back.
Demon incursion.
People just usually going about their business, going, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab some water from the well, go fish by the river." Oops!
Oops! All demons.
We're near the veneer of sanity.
So, should we go check out the Wandering Weasel, seeing as how it's in town now?
That sounds like a reasonable choice.
Most interesting. Been a long time since I've been there. God, how long has it been at this point? In character, how long has it been since we've been there?
In character for you, it has been... the last time you were in the Wandering Weasel, I believe, was when you last saw Wither's mother in just outside of the Overgrowth.
Man, that was a long time ago.
So in game time for you, that would have been better part of a month to 2 months at this point. For the Wandering Weasel itself, it's been about like better part of half a year. Meanwhile, Wolfgang and Nara, the last time you were in the Wandering Weasel was just before you traveled back and replaced yourselves in the timeline.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to go track down the Wandering Weasel?
Yeah.
Easy enough.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sorry.
So Asma just goes, I'm pretty sure you will have questions to ask. Oh my god. Magic. Always a stressful thing.
Yeah, it's easy enough to find as the poster presented itself as one of those birds kind of landed on basically like a little fence post that you're walking by, hammered itself in, and there it is, the Wandering Weasel. Looks like it's just outside of town to the west, to the west, just outside of the large gate that you entered through. Somewhere out, apparently on a just hanging from just sitting. Excuse me. The door itself is mentioned to be out in the farmland, sitting on a lone rock on top of a hill.
Okay.
As you guys make your way out there, you are met at the gate by Harish, of all people, who is preparing, who is just kind of waiting patiently, seemingly, for you. And as he catches you, he begins to approach.
So the rest of you made it in.
Seems like it.
Alright, well, everything seems like it's under control here, and I've gotta head back. There's some business that my brother and sister need to discuss with me.
Like what?
I'm not entirely sure.
You sound so serious.
They made it sound serious.
They always make everything sound serious, though.
If you keep whispering like that, everything will sound serious.
No, he has a point, yeah. You're right.
It's kind of a serious time.
You have everything under control here.
Seriously.
Believe so.
Have your whole guard retinue worked out. We didn't actually. You never actually told me who you were leaving in charge of most of these things. And you got to report back.
Figured I needed some witnesses for this, but suppose now is a good time as any. I can discuss this with the other people in charge, Wolfgang slowly turns to Asmo. Asmo.
What?
I hereby appoint you Imperator of Silver Rock Standing Army.
No. It's just he's trying to figure out. He's trying to be a smartass and also say no. But the gravity of this is there's a lot of things trying to get through the door at once here. So he'll get back to you. Don't worry. I Okay.
Great.
All right. Cool. That sounds.
Hooray seems mildly amused, but I don't know. You can give me an insight check to see what his face is saying.
Sure.
Can we read him like a book or a picture book?
Oh dear.
I'm gonna read him and weep. Here I go. 16.
He's not the best at hiding his emotions. He's not exactly the stoic sort like his brother and sister. You're able to read from him that while he's kind of mildly amused at Asmo's shock, he doesn't begrudge you this. He believes that Asmo is actually far more cunning than he lets on.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Great. It's good.
He'll certainly do a better job than the old guy. Got outmaneuvered by a troll last I hear.
Yep. A series of trolls. A lot of them just kind of broke into their camp. I thought we talked about this. That was you, right?
Wolfgang just looks to Denier and Asma and the rest of them and just has a big smile on his face.
Denier gives a little bit of a grin.
That was amazing.
Two birds, one stone. Stopped their army and killed a tribe of trolls, so...
Slaughter.
Generally, yeah. Anything else I need to report back with? Venariel will be staying up here for a while to make sure all your clerical needs are met.
Suppose I should. While we're at it, Wolfgang turns to Denier. Denier. I hereby appoint you High Arcanist of Silver Rock.
I humbly accept. It seems like he couldn't be happier at such a title.
He pats him on the shoulder.
I'll make sure your mages are ready to go, Lord Connolly.
See that you do. And you. He turns to Nara.
Sparkly eyes immediately. Balls up, fist starts pumping them in front of her, so excited.
I hereby award you the title of Ebon Warden. You are tasked with overseeing operations in the Maw, as well as special counsel to the Kylum Diaboli.
Narrows her eyes.
Can we change it to Queen of the Maw? It has a better ring.
Horatio actually kind of chuckles at that.
If you can learn to tame that entire thing, call yourself whatever you want.
Cool. All right. Queen of the Maw it is.
He kind of scoffs again.
Right. Well,
She slaps Wolfgang's shoulder.
Thanks, buddy. This is awesome.
you're welcome.
Wait, what do I have to do?
How big's the army?
You have... At the moment, you haven't actually divided who is going to be militant and who is just going to be a town guard yet. But as of right now, in this town and of the people that were part of its army previously that either aren't prisoners of war in the prisons and forts within the Dragon's territory, you have approximately 100 people to divvy up. So not a massive army as of right now, but that number is going to no doubt grow as the city itself grows.
Indeed. And that's your problem now. Good luck.
What?
Connor, before we get too far, what was the actual official name before I get lost?
The Ebon Warden.
Ebon Warden.
Oh, I can see it now. Posters of Asmo all over the city. Uncle Fuck wants you to join the army.
Come join Uncle Fuck's Fuck Squad.
This came out poorly. We need to rethink this. We need to rethink this campaign. And marketing has failed us.
What, you wanted to be fucking kid friendly?
But the marketing's working. I made the posters myself.
You got a bunch of really creepy guys lined up outside.
They all look so capable.
But yes, before I interrupted, you were going to recite exactly what Nara's responsibilities were again.
She's tasked with overseeing the maw, making sure nothing comes out of it, reporting to me what is happening inside of it, and also special counsel to the Kylan Diaboli, particularly in the use of necromantic magic.
All right, now
and what was the last part? And something to
special
the Kylan?
Special counsel to the Kylan Diaboli.
Okay.
All right, now to describe the vast sea of blackness that is the Maw that you can see to the north of town. Many hills offer a vantage point. The Kylan Diaboli is an amazing vantage point, as is the soon-to-be school for magic and sorcery. The Maw itself is miles deep. It would take some doing to get to the bottom of it. Even with Nara's pixie stick, it would take the better part of probably a couple hours to get down.
Oof.
So if your goal is to have actual excursions going down there to scout its basin, you will need to basically either construct a way or find a way to make that more viable on a regular basis.
Nara already has many plans. Many.
Good.
None of them safe.
I'll leave that up to her discretion.
Good.
All right. Her problem now.
I ain't going down there. Fuck that.
And the queen.
It just leaps. Queen Lama!
Getting to think I might have made a mistake.
Nope.
It always just sounds like Ma.
You told Harish, so it's legal now. I am queen of the Maw, and it's my space.
I mean, it's your land. You can divvy up titles. I'm leaving.
You could change the name of the Maw to something less. I don't know.
No! Queen of the Maw.
You sure you don't want to drink, Harish? I'm sure that there's some people inside of there that wants to meet you very badly.
He catches one of the birds out of the air, and it kind of turns to ash in his hands. he just looks over his shoulder. No. And then he kind of crouches down, and with one mighty leap, poof, kind of Hulk jumps away. The ground,
okay.
There's this concussive force in the ground as he does so. You're familiar with it, as he at one point landed in front of you in Amber Glade, probably by the same method of traversal.
Well, probably still a bit sore about that one.
Probably.
As you look off into the sky, the way he jumped, you soon see the glinting bronze shape of an ancient dragon flying off to the southwest. And with that, you guys are back to your devices.
That's not a good thing, though.
Denier places a hand on the door. Okay, before we go in, you all need to ready yourself and prepare for what's to come.
Like what?
As was just making a face like, did he hire someone new or what?
Are you ready?
Or
As was gestured to.
Blink.
Denier pulls open the door.
The door opens, and inside... Welcome to the Wandering Weasel! The smiling face of Tom greets you from behind the bar. There are the invisible servants wandering around in various. I guess you'd like the style of Silver Rock was always fairly. How to put this? It's kind of basically they're like German beer wenches wandering around, but they're all invisible, so it's just floating clothes. Tom is standing behind the bar, and there are a number of people from the town who has made their way in here, and a familiar face sitting at the bar. A elf that you haven't seen in quite some time. For some, it feels longer than others, but the young blonde elf Hackless is sitting at the counter, and he turns and he waves. Oh, it's you guys!
Hackless.
Hi.
Hey.
Go on, Asmo. Go say hello to your bestest friend. And Daenerys going to start pushing him towards Hackless.
Hackless's eyes widen. We're best friends now?
Oh, you know it.
Gives you a
Absolutely.
big hug.
Narg gets sad. I thought
I was his friend.
We can all be friends. He reaches around, like tries to bring you into a group hug. His arms
No,
aren't
no,
nearly,
you're not involved.
His
You're
arms
not involved
aren't.
in that.
His arms
Dude,
aren't
no,
nearly
no,
big enough.
you-
His arms aren't nearly big enough to even wrap around Asmo. So he's like just kind of like trying to reach his fingers out to.
I feel like he's got like a hug he's not closing because he's like trying to get a second person in the hug.
Pretty much.
Nara just hugs Asmo, and Hackless is just like maybe barely touching her side.
Hey.
Asmo is now, I guess, black scale blushing. I don't even know if that's possible for him, but hey.
The darks of your cheeks are slightly darker. Tom is just like smiling and polishing a mug. You know, standard bar stage business. Hackless finishes his hug and leans back. Ah, it's been a bit. I came up here because, well, Uncle Talos and Uncle Timry told me that we should expand operations, and you guys had a new town coming in, and so I want to open a magic shop. That one.
You'd be so good at running a magic shop.
Maybe.
Silver? Was there not a magic shop when we...
Well, not a Hackless one.
Mm-hmm. The town itself, after it caught fire, a lot of people moved away. A good number of people in that town died. So, currently you are without a magic shop.
A lot of people got eaten.
Well, where am I supposed to offload my extra stuff I need to sell to make coin?
Hackless points at himself. I mean, I'd need coin first, but...
You're gonna be hearing that a lot there. You're gonna be hearing that a lot, Wolfgang.
I've already heard it a lot.
Yeah, if I only had some money, I could help you.
Well, let's see what we can do for you.
Okay. Oh, and he starts, like, fiddling with his little satchel of holding at his side. Uncle Timry wanted me to give you guys this. And he pulls out a little cross-shaped charm. Wolfgang, this charm looks familiar to you.
Did I see Elliot with it?
Go ahead and give me a... I guess this would be history with advantage?
14 either way.
Yeah, this was a charm that Elliot had on him.
He just sort of tilts his head and narrows his eyes. What is that?
Well, it's an invention that he was working on for some time, and he said that he had a dream where you, and he points to Denier, showed up and gave him everything he needed for it. And then I made it small, so you can make it grow. Here you go. And he hands you this cross-shaped charm. The bottom of the cross has like a little rigid pattern to it. It almost looks like a key.
Denier looks over towards Wolfgang with almost a smug smile. Huh, what do you know? The Dream Walker strikes again, and he takes a seat next to Hackless.
I'm making lots of friends now.
He just gives him a smile, and he just looks up towards the roof. Good looking out. Well, I am looking forward to giving this a spin.
It should be pretty neat, but do it outside. It would not be good in here. Wait, do you know what it is?
I think I've got an idea.
I think Wolfgang does.
Oh, well, Wolfgang would, but Hackless wouldn't know why you'd know what it is. So he's very intrigued by the fact that you seem to already know what this contraption is.
Wolfgang will step outside for a moment.
Dingle, 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 dingle.
So, how do I,
Well, you're
what's
its...
stored?
Hackless kind of follows you outside. Well, you're its first owner, so you just got to come up with a command phrase, and then you hold it out in front of you and speak the command phrase and turn it.
Command phrase. It could be anything?
Sure. As long as you're not going to accidentally say it.
Yeah, it's gotta be something you normally would not say on a daily basis, so... Yeah, jokes write themselves.
Okay, I got it. The command phrase is, Asmo, that's a brilliant idea.
We're full of piss and vinegar today, Denier.
Yeah, Denier didn't have anything to drink yet. That's why Denier wanted to come to the, the bar.
Denier just grins a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
You think? Nah.
Huh. I've got it. Wolfgang will sort of assume a wide stance, and he'll turn the sort of activation, the way he was shown with the activation of this thing, and he'll say, Allegro!
And as you turn it, the key begins to kind of like spark and shine. As the hand that you turned it in, it begins to kind of like fill out in a cylinder, so you're holding the handlebar. The key itself expands forth, and a familiar, like, dual-wheeled, cycle-like shape begins to take form. And as the body kicks out beneath you, you hear this rumble, this as this arcane red and blue fire begins sparking in this contraption at its center. You are now riding what Timry has labeled the Atamo cycle.
Oh, yeah.
It reaches speed up to 120 feet per round. On average, it'll travel probably about, like, if you're just using it to travel, you can probably get about 20 miles in an hour at its top speed. Well, not at its top speed, but at a, like, casual pace. On a good surface for it. It essentially acts as the spell Phantom Steed, but you now just have this at your disposal. It can be ridden in combat, so long as you are able to properly ride and wield a weapon at the same time. Obviously something that's much more useful if you are cavalry trained, but nonetheless, you have that ability. The only caveat to Phantom Steed is it does not only last 1 hour, it can last up to 10.
10 now? What?
Up to 10 hours in a day.
Clip clop.
And it's a one-seater, I assume.
You can fit a second person on it.
Ooh.
Oh, that's romantic? That's fantastic.
Evil's going under deadly wheels.
He has other ideas for the technology he used to make this, but we can talk about that later. If you want to give it for a spin.
Think I just might. And he'll go driving around the Kylum Diaboli campus.
You go down the hill that the Wandering Weasel has set itself atop of. You hit the cobblestone road, much to a lot of confusion as people are kind of like wandering out to like see what exactly is going on. Oh, what is that? As white flames shoot out of the exhaust in the back of it, you rocket through the town. And are able to kind of like come to a sick Akira stop just in front of the Kylum Diaboli.
Yeah!
Pogan is standing out front and he just kind of like drops a like stack of papers. Oh. Can I get a turn? The fuck was that?
My latest toy.
Well, I'm jealous. What do you call that thing?
I think it was called an arcana cycle by its inventor. The cousin of our good friends Talos and Timry behind this one.
Yeah. It's quite
Not cousin.
little...
Nephew.
Pretty little beast it is. Hope it serves you well, sir.
I've got ideas.
Sure you do. Alright, well, I'm gonna... He starts scooping up the stuff he just dropped. Get back to it. Make sure this place is ripe for when it's ready to open.
Alrighty. And I will drive back to the Wandering Weasel.
You screech off, doing a sick wheelie down the road. Meanwhile, back at the bar, Wolfgang just left all of you back in the dust.
Nara turns to Hackless.
Do you have something like that flies?
He looks up and ponders for a moment. No. I mean, I have a carpet, but that's not... It's not like that.
No, think like a dread wyvern. Something cool and big. And fast.
He kind of like squats down, puts his thumb and forefinger to his chin.
But also that I wouldn't die on if I was on top of it.
That you wouldn't die on? No.
Yeah, wouldn't die.
No, I definitely don't have anything like that.
You make something like that?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not exactly... And he kind of twiddles with his fingers. Mechanically... good. But I'm good at magic.
You tell me what you need and I'll get it.
He pulls out a notebook and just starts, like, thumbing through it. I have to get back to you on that. I'll see what I can think up. And he goes and he sits down in, like, a kind of like a booth table and just starts scrolling through his book.
Hey, Hackless, I got a question for you.
Yeah?
The things that you got whenever you talked to Arcanos last, do you still have those?
Oh, the ring and the ball?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
He walks over and he leans forward. He takes a seat at the booth and he leans forward a little bit. So I learned something very interesting as of late.
Yeah?
The ring, the ball, and the staff are all pieces of one magical item.
Which staff?
He
hasn't even really looked up. He's still looking through his book. And as
The
you
one
say
in my
this-
hand.
Oh, he looks at it. And his eyes
Arcanos.
open up further. Oh.
Arcanos told me.
He starts scrolling through his book further. Let me see. Advantage since he has a book. He flips to a page. By the way, his notebook, which is basically his spell book, is an absolute mess. Nobody but him would probably be able to read it.
Yeah, I recall Denier, whenever they were experimenting with the Sphere of Annihilation, Denier tried to trade spells with him, and it did not work out well.
Yeah. He opens up to a page that can only be described as several hieroglyphics. But one of them does look like a staff, one of them does look like an orb, one of them does look like a ring, but there is a box as well. It's one of 4.
Really? There's a fourth piece.
Yeah.
He points to the box. What is that?
That is meant to hold the power of the orb so that it does not disintegrate everything when it is being used by the staff. It's basically a channeling frame.
So the orb would have to go on top of the box, which would then have to go on top of the staff, and the ring controls the orb, and the box acts as a channeling mechanism for the orb so that it doesn't disintegrate everything.
Unclear. It might go inside the box? I'm not sure. But I'd be interested in finding out.
Then I'll tell you what. How about you and I work together and we figure this out?
I like that.
But here's the thing. I will give you all the information that I know on my discoveries of it. And on top of that, I will give you probably 2 things that you've never seen before.
His eyes widen.
For the orb and the ring.
Go on.
Have you ever heard of void metal?
He squints his eyes for a moment.
Denier produces from his bag the ebon wand.
No.
This is from the far realms.
He holds his hands out.
Denier would hand it over. And it has been, very recently, it has been a full moon, so it is fully charged.
The void rod itself looks almost like the absence of space. The metal is so black that it almost looks like it is an absolute void in and of itself. And as Hackless holds it, he looks at it, just kind of examines it. It's so cold to the touch.
I know, right?
He licks it.
And Daenerys will, using prestidigitation and, minor image and the like, he will tell Hackles of the story of Kimberton Wimperstump.
A good tale.
And what the metal rod inside of his skull did.
As you tell him about that, you can see that he's like he licked the rod, and now that you showed that it was possibly once inside of his brain, he looks back at the rod, back up.
No, different one.
Oh.
Wumperstump had a different rod in his brain, which is being removed by the pixies. That one was in the hands of a squid face, and Daenerys holds a hand in front of his face and wiggles his fingers to simulate tentacles.
What spell exactly was in this wand that I
Dominate monster.
Hackles will identify. And
that is,
is
incredibly powerful.
He's impressed. Okay.
I will trade you that for the sphere. And he digs into his pouch and he brings out a white metal lantern. This is refined mithril.
Hackles nods.
This
properly and everything.
This came directly from Lono Throne.
You made it? He opens his he widens his eyes.
I didn't make it, but it was made by
No, you
our
made
guy.
it to Lona Throne?
Oh, absolutely.
What's it like?
Let me show you. And using minor image, he will conjure up visages of Lono Throne for Hackles.
He is kind of like he's awestruck. This is a place that he had heard about since he was a child. Always hearing stories about this place. Nobody in his family had ever traveled there. They actually chose not to in order to stay back and protect the lands. But to see that somebody actually reached it is... And somebody that he's met...
I wanted to summon you, but I wasn't allowed to.
Oh.
He gives a little bit of a smile, and he shows the Archies. He shows bits and pieces. He shows young Arcanos. He shows the Academy. The way that doors manifest and vanish in the Academy.
He's just like scribbling nonsense in his book as you're talking and showing. To you, it's nonsense. It's Hackles shorthand.
Yeah, of course.
Was beyond chicken scratch.
Every wizard has their own brand of wizard scribbles.
His seems to manifest randomly. Sometimes on a page, he'll just kind of start turning the book as he's writing and just write in a spiral pattern for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He is chaos incarnate.
You would have liked it there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Arcanos told us that we had to leave after a short time.
Is that what the... And he kind of like gestures out to the east.
He nods.
Hackles
Apparently
kind of
it was
somberly nods.
It was some kind of a plan to protect his people or something like that. He kept calling it Project Exodus. I don't understand all of it, but if Arcanos needed to do it, it had to be done, right?
I have to make a trip out there some point and see if something was left behind after the explosion. He slips the ring off his finger and sets it down. And he reaches into his bag and pulls out the orb and sets it on the table.
Denier pushes forward the lantern and well, he's already got the rod, but he reaches out to acquire the orb and the ring. No matter what happens, I will let you know of everything that happens and everything that I come across with it. Heck, he gives a little bit of a smile. I know how to summon you. I could just, summon you whenever I get ready to use it so you can even see it for yourself.
Hackless points to you. That one.
The future's going to be very interesting. Me setting up a school, you setting up a shop in town. Who knows what we're going to be able to teach this town.
Yeah. I hear my sister's still here.
Yeah, she's going to be staying with us for a while. You know how it goes with the Wieselsteins. They always act as liaisons, so to say.
I should go say hi. I don't think I've talked to her, and his eyes kind of scan the ground. A very long time.
Do be careful. She is working on a very important project, and we're going to be finishing it off this evening.
Yeah.
Just be careful about what you touch.
Oh, and if I could ask one more thing.
What's that?
Can you make sure my permit gets put through for the shop? My uncles would be very disappointed if I told them I couldn't get it.
I will personally speak to the lord of the town on your behalf once he gets back.
He gives 2 big thumbs up. And Wolfgang, as you're re-entering the tavern, Hackless just kind of bumps into you on his way up. Oh, sorry. Lordship.
No problem.
Connolly,
No problem.
Man.
Wolfgang's fine. We've known each other for long enough.
Right. But now you're like... Okay. And he just
I know,
kind of
it's a bit weird for me to... Just thank you for this, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell my uncle you said that. As he's just kind of like wandering away.
Yeah, good. Bye. Always on the move, that one.
As he's wandering away, Denier puts the ring on his finger in the bag and the sphere in his bag. Now, where the hell do I find that box?
You did not ask the man that might have known.
That's okay.
Of course, there's another man that might know.
Yup. And he's sitting behind that bar, probably.
Need to see a man about a box.
My boy is a box.
Tom is just filling drink orders right now, setting them on the bar as the servants come by, pick them up, and deliver them to the various town folk. A few more have spilled in as you guys have been hanging out here. Including...
How would you say it's not full, but I'm guessing it's decently lively, huh?
It's fairly lively here. Actually, Asmo, one of the people that wandered in, you'd recognize as Broken Stone Knuckle.
You have to remind me who that is.
That is the dwarf that worked Garrick's forge, built all of his cool shit.
Hey, Inara, I'm gonna leave you with. I gotta go say hello to 70 real quick.
Oh, okay. I'll just drink then.
Okay. All right. Sorry, because Asmo's like not even paying attention because he wasn't expecting to see him. Just really goes, all right, I'll see you in a sec. And Asmo just nonchalantly, without thinking, kisses her on the cheek real quick. And he stops and goes, no, keep walking. He wasn't thinking properly. He's like, oh shit. Okay.
She grabs his collar, spins, dips him, and full-on kisses him on the mouth.
Okay, I want I want him to I can only describe as Gmod animate in that moment.
Tom is currently like just sitting there like Willy Wonka leaning on his arm, just kind of like smiling at this. The rest of the bar crowd looks, and you get a couple of like hoots and woo as you do that to him.
I'm gonna talk to my friend. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Dusts his shoulder, pats his butt as he goes.
Asmo just happens not there.
To be young.
Broken actually, he was just on his way in as this whole event was taking place, and he's like kind of wide-eyed as you approach him, Asmo.
Not quite the way I expected to run into you, but good on you, lad.
Thank you very much. Asmo goes for shaking his hand. How have you been since I last saw you?
He reaches up and grabs your hand. His stout, very muscular hand grips yours. He gives you a firm handshake.
Oh, it's been a busy time, I'll say, but it's good to have a change of scenery and... Hey, come here. I got something for you. Managed to get this out of the dragons before I left.
What the heck?
It's my own bit of handiwork. I wasn't going to let them hang on to it forever, the daft shites.
What?
And he pulls out before you an item that you haven't seen in quite some time. The Wraith's Cowl.
Holy shit.
This item, it has essentially goggles of intimidation.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I
remind you
know
what
what the Wraith's Cowl is. I know what the Wraith's. Trust me, I know what that magical item is. And Asmo just kind of everything silences, everything kind of goes quiet, and Asmo just doesn't even know how to process. It's just like, oh my god, what?
He would have wanted you to have it. I wasn't going to let it collect dust in some evidence locker forever. So I told them, in exchange for me coming down here to work, which, is kind of a benefit for me too. I hated working in that daft place. I wanted this back. They agreed. So now I'm giving it back to you.
Back to me? This isn't even mine. This is Garrick's.
You wore it once, and like I said, he would have wanted you to have it.
No. Ass was like very, very cautiously taking it in his hand and just chuckling to himself lightly.
I always saw this as his responsibility he threw on himself. All that. Everything he was doing. And when you say he'd want me to have it, it is a very Garrick thing for him to force responsibility upon me.
That it is. Say.
I don't know what I can do to repay you for this, but,
Well, you could help me by substantiating a rumor or two I've heard.
A rumor or two? Okay, a dangerous price for such a kind gift.
That dragon that tore up the place. The big red one. I heard a rumor that it might have been him.
That's what kind of grips it.
No. It was at one point. At some point. I don't think he's there anymore, but magic is one of the reasons why I don't like it. Well, it's a tool. It was a tool that's being misused, and one of my best friends uses it. But one of my best friends was hurt by it. So yeah, that rumor is true.
He has kind of a grim look on his face as he kind of like breaks eye contact for a moment.
Well, can't say he didn't give back what he took from that damn place.
I shouldn't laugh at the destruction.
No.
The second, whatever magical effect took him, He wasn't Garrick anymore, as far as I'm concerned. As far as anyone is concerned. It's like a wild animal taking over the body. That's what that was. It wasn't Garrick. It wasn't my friend. And it wasn't your friend either.
Well, whatever he is
Somehow
now.
that's worth him dying.
Whatever he is now. I hope there's a piece of him left.
Well, might have to carve it out.
Barkeep! 2 ales, please!
Hey, tell him I'll cover it. Oh, no, it's covered by the local government.
Put it on the town's tab!
Bingo. Asmo just kind of gives a thumbs up.
I'll join you. You can tell me why you can tell me the bad idea he pitched initially till you negotiated him down to this.
He holds up the mask.
Oh. Honestly, I needed a new change of scenery anyway. Place was rather depressing without y'all.
And you go and sit down as the servants deliver the ales. He holds up his mug to you. To Garrick.
Garrick.
Clink.
And Asmo and like the kind of the booze sloshes and kind of hit the mask.
Oh yeah.
Like in tribute almost. Tink.
Set the mask on the table. The splash of the 2 ales just kind of cascades over it a little.
I never thought I'd see you again.
The mask he's looking at.
And you too, but for what it's worth, I know the local leader of sorts, and he's in charge of this city. So, if you need anything, if you need anything, you can ask me. But I'll be honest with you. You've met me. I'm not the most administrative person.
Hey, somebody already told me I'll be getting a new apprentice. So I guess I'll have a shop up and running sometime soon.
That is fantastic. Make sure to work that apprentice to the bone. To the bone!
Oh, I'll make sure he learns a thing or two.
Excellent.
Need to see an example of his work to begin with anyway, just to know what I'm working with, but we'll move from there.
What is everybody else doing at the bar?
Drinking.
Wow, that was really quick, Caitlin.
I am drinking.
She told Asmo the minute he
slow down.
She told Asmo, well, she just also kissed Asmo, and now that has sunk in what she has done. And now she is embarrassed and going to drink away that embarrassment.
Yeah, as you turn away from that, as Asmo walked over to go talk to Broken, you turn back to see Tom just grinning at you.
Good to be home,
He's like both hands gripping the bar, staring down, full blush face.
What did I do?
Good to be home, I take it.
Alcohol.
He reaches under the counter and pours you a kind of a lowball glass of what appears to be inky black liquor.
Hanks it. Just boom.
It is very strong, a little fruity sweet, but has a very, very strong mint taste to it.
One more.
Pours you another one.
Hanks it.
Go ahead and give me a constitution check on this one.
12.
You're starting to feel a little bit of the buzz, but you're fine.
Okay. I'm fine. Oh, Tom, do you have meat? Like a lot of meat?
I'll have to check and see what's on the menu today.
Like enough for the T-Rex?
He looks back.
Oh, the poor thing's probably hungry, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like... He ate all the crabs. They're gone. Shells.
I'll just put that on your tab. He goes and he puts in an order. One of the servants walks by, grabs it, wanders off.
Denier looks over at Nara and mouths the words, "How does he know about it?"
Slow turn back to Tom.
Wait, huh?
He's smiling at you.
How do you know? Wait, how do you know about the lass?
Why wouldn't I?
What does that mean?
He points at the parallax around your neck. I gave you that, didn't I?
What?
He kind of cocks his head to the side.
Oh.
Did I not?
No, you... Yeah.
She just slides her cup forward again.
Lifts up that black bottle and just starts pouring into it again. Wolfgang, by this point, you've probably wandered back into the bar. There's the other weary traveler.
Weary is correct. Pour me an ale.
You got it.
Wolfgang, he knows about my ass.
How in the world
you get just like from a random person in the tavern. Woo!
She immediately like dark grim turns and is like immediate dark aura emanating from her, staring at that person.
Perception check real quick.
21.
All right, and intimidation to follow up.
Okay, great. 20.
So you turn as the woo starts going. You see kind of like a just post-pubescent farm lad just going, woo! And then you lock eyes with him, give him a death glare, woo! He shrinks back down into the table, just kind of tries to hide behind his ale.
And as soon as he's like out of eye shot, her head lulls back over to Wolfgang.
Yeah.
I was gone for 5 minutes. How? What?
Wolfgang, help! I kissed Asmo.
Who are in love with that.
Tom sets down the beer in front of you. I thought it was adorable.
Well, people who are in love kiss each other, Nora. That's.
But we're in love.
You just. Oh.
Downs the next glass.
Another constitution check.
You water it down for her, please.
7.
All right, you're thoroughly buzzed right now.
Sort of just gave her a really important position and
slams head on the bar.
Are you okay?
About like a train of like 3 or 4 invisible servants start walking out from behind the bar with bags that are just like moving around very quickly and clucking frantically.
Nara just like fumbles both hands near her shoulders and like pulls the parallax and like kind of lulls her head to the side and just points at it.
All right, 12 chickens. And the invisible servants just start tossing the bags at the parallax as they shrink down and fall in. Inside, you can see once the bags land on the ground, the chickens start scattering. Little ass that was taking a nap, eyes immediately open, starts chasing the chickens as they start falling from the sky, trying to catch some of them like they're falling snow. It is an immediate slaughter as these chickens are being chased and devoured by the Chronosaur in Nara's necklace.
Little ass, he was taking a nap. What the?
Don't worry, don't worry. It'll be added to your tab.
My tab?
That's what I was told.
Yeah, they said that you're the city now, so the city's gonna pay for it.
That's right, I'm the city.
Lot of responsibility.
Tom!
You know,
Oh.
sometimes it feels like I have more than one child.
Tom just kind of nods.
I understand.
Do you? Maybe.
Wolfgang,
Yes.
call it a theory, but I think that you and Nara may be more familiar with Tom.
Tom looks at Denier. If you make eye contact with him, Denier, you see he has kind of an inquisitive look on his face.
I see.
Then he looks back to Nara and Wolfgang.
So you were the ones that made it, then?
And I assume you're the one that followed us.
As far as I'm aware, there's only one of me right now.
Not sure if that's reassuring or terrifying.
Nah, it looks like there's two. Maybe three.
That's just the liquor.
What is it? Don't think that's creme de menthe. What the hell?
Oh, it's underberries and herbs. Mostly
Fuck is
mint.
it? Huh.
It's a blackberry that grows in the absence of sunlight.
Huh. Well,
They're really tasty.
They are?
Either way.
Yes, as far as I'm aware right now, I'm the only one of me. It's been a while since I've run into a paradox. Did you have any trouble reassimilating?
We dropped in a bit earlier than we would have liked, but
Nora sobs and clutches the parallax.
We killed him.
You have to excuse me. I'm going to go talk to my lady.
No worries. Just keep the ale flowing. I'll keep the seats warm if you need them.
Asmo just kind of like snaps his fingers and points to one of the floating clothes.
He holds his hand up. And Broken will continue to drink on your dime. As you reapproach the bar to your sobbing girlfriend? Question mark?
No, that's exactly the energy he's at right now.
Are you doing okay?
We came here from the future.
Okay, Nara's had a lot to drink,
Well,
guys. Okay.
pretty
okay.
safe.
As you look down into your parallax, you can see he is having a wonderful time chasing down these chickens and feeding. There's blood and feathers everywhere.
Can we get some water over here? Actually, water with lime. I don't even know what that is.
He nods and he goes and gets some water from a barrel.
Oh, good. Barrel water is the best.
It's kind of the only way to keep it when you're in a traveling pub.
I keep my water in barrels.
Nora grabs Asmo's shoulders. Are you mad?
No, I'm worried.
After he sets down the water, Tom wanders over to you, Denier, and he keeps looking at you, inquisitively.
Copper for your thoughts, and he'll set Eska down.
Since you got back,
Have you experienced anything strange? Stranger than usual.
You mean back to Silver Rock?
Oh, sorry. Since, he points to Wolfgang and Ara, since they got back.
The only question that I really have since, they got back is, I was talking to my Wolfgang and Nara, and then all of a sudden, they kind of swap places. I don't know what happened to mine, if that makes sense.
Well, where they came from, the time tree, it's not a huge fan of paradoxes. So, odds are their existence was eaten by a cosmic squirrel. That's probably not what you wanted to hear.
I do have an additional theory. Somehow or another, I think, he points to Nara and Wolfgang, their version of me is still contacting me.
And to that his eyes open wider.
Because I've been seeing this a lot, and Denier holds out his hand and mimics the mask of Somnium Vagus. I've been seeing this a lot in my dreams. And I've never seen this. I don't use this. But I see it a lot in my dreams. And it has been giving me information that they don't have, apparently.
Wasn't the first time you used that particular mask when you went into Garrick's dream? Or when was the first time you used that mask? Like the image of that mask.
I think at some point I used it for my nightmare form.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, it's never come into play here.
The Ebon mask, only Denier Prime has ever used because he got it in the Void.
Right. I just meant the visage of the mask.
Yeah. Yeah, the mask is nightmare form when he has the Plague Doctor's mask with the twisted tentacles. And then eventually Somnium Vagus started using the mask in both forms, whereas current Denier, who is the Dreamwalker, has never used that in his Dreamwalker form.
So, he's learned to make contact then. And it's been through your dreams, you said?
Mm-hmm.
When I was made aware of other instances of myself, once you start messing around with space-time, it happens.
You know.
He just kind of gestures to you. Yeah. I found a way to do what I came to call a paradoxic merge. Being able to combine the two experiences into one so as not to damage the time stream.
So, kind of like this weird little, how do you say, like a dance where two people becomes one person.
Basically, yes. I'm not sure how it would work for you, as your form is a bit less durable, but I'd be interested to see if it can.
That is something that might need to be spoken of.
Well,
I was thinking about telling him about, well, he shows the ring on his hand, and I've learned of the existence of a fourth piece to this set, and I don't know if the other me knows about it. Apparently there's a box that I was previously unaware of.
Yes. I don't remember much of my early years, I'm afraid, but I do vaguely recall such a thing.
Maybe. He gives a little bit of a smile. I do recall that there are copies. And I have met a copy before. Maybe he might have some information of that. Above game, I'm referring to the simulacrum that is in the sorcerer stream in Ice. No,
Frosthelm.
Yeah, Frosthelm.
Possibly.
But the idea of a paradoxal merger is a fascinating theory.
Well, the fact that you're aware of another version of yourself and you haven't exploded or died is a good sign.
This implies he's seen that.
Maybe. Okay, can I roll an intelligence check to see if I got my own logic, and I want to see if Denier can piece together what I'm thinking.
I'll just say that you can use your own logic. Go for it.
What if he knows about it, but he's only making contact in specific ways to avoid exactly that? Like, I've never seen him. I've only ever seen the mask. Or I've seen what he's done, but I have never seen him. I have never heard his voice. But he's left clues for me.
Then he's tackling it very delicately.
Slowly but surely.
Which also may explain why he's only reaching out to me and not, say, Nara or Asmo or Wolfgang.
Perhaps the connection to you is just the easiest one to reach from where he is. You do have much in common, after all.
Fair enough. Although I don't know where he's differentiated from my paths. He glances over towards Nara and Wolfgang. I suppose only they would know where things have changed.
Then perhaps start with their recollections. Maybe the more information you have in common, the more likely it is you'll be able to merge without severe death.
I like the idea of not severe death.
Not severe death is better than the alternative, which is severe death.
Like death but dire.
Well, that sounds like an interesting adventure all on its own.
I see what you did there.
I have done nothing, sir.
Thank you for letting me pick your brain a little bit. And as true to his word, he places a single copper and pushes it forward. Since he did ask Tom, copper for your thoughts.
He smiles, grabs it, kind of flicks it into the air, reaches up his hand, and catches it. Sets it in the till. He looks back to you, Wolfgang.
Get you another ale. You look like you have a lot on your mind.
That's usually the case, so yes.
Pours another ale. So,
this is...
I was going to say, so, what is on your mind then?
As he hands you your ale.
Well, I saw this go in a number of ways, and I didn't think this was going to be one of them. It's just a lot to handle.
As one father to another, I can tell you that it is always never as you expect.
Sorry, I should have yelled over you there. Let me give you some dad advice. I'm like, I don't know if I should hear from you, you know?
He continues.
I know.
Damn it, I lost my train of thought.
I am sorry.
It's alright.
You were going to say from one father to another.
Yes. One father to another, it never quite goes exactly as you plan. My children couldn't have been more different from each other. Not that they are my biological children. That is, more children that I chose. Ones that I picked up on the way. One from a world of burning light. One from a shadowy plane being consumed by itself. It took a while to find a place where they could coexist, till I found a empty swath of land. Nothing but a bunch of darkness and a bunch of rocks floating out among a sea of tiny little pinprick stars. The little boy, he was always so fascinated by everything, and he wanted nothing more than to make his, well, I'd say sibling, but makes it sound so incestuous. Wanted nothing more than to make the little girl happy. But all he could do was create, and all she could do was destroy. First thing he ever tried to create, he molded from the very crystals beneath the surface of the earth. A being of pure energy trapped within a crystal skeleton. He gave it to the little girl, but as soon as she touched it, all of its life ceased. It scared her and made her cry, so she went and hid herself away. That didn't stop the boy. He made an entire planet. He started by growing plants and trees and filling it with animals. Of course, before the animals came his second attempt at life. A platinum dragon. It was his prized joy, the one you know as Bahamut. It took me a while to realize what was happening before my very eyes. That the very planet that I was born on was being created in front of me. Eventually, the little boy created me. I had unwillingly brought my own father to a place where he would create me. Now that was a surprise.
You're pulling my leg.
No. I was fascinated with myself from a very young age. Everything I knew was something I wanted to learn. Of course, I couldn't remember many of my younger years, so I did my best to teach what I could and tried to steer away from things I knew I'd need to learn later. Eventually, that frustrated the hell out of little me. Became jaded with everything and just started hanging out with his... I don't even know what Solly is to me now.
Solly?
Solomon.
Nara perks up.
Okay, keep drinking the water. Keep drinking. Keep drinking.
Sips it, stares at Tom.
We were close. We both felt jilted by our father figures. We learned together. We grew up together, practically. And then one day he snapped. He couldn't take not being worthy of his father's love anymore. Everything he was good at, his father despised. So
Wait,
Solomon Yes. Solomon was good at one thing in particular. Bringing back the dead. But the dead, you see, were a gift to his mother. So his father...
He points to you, Wolfgang.
Your source of power. He saw it as a abomination. And he had nothing but harsh words for Solomon. And so Solomon decided to do the one thing that he felt was in his power. Make the world his own.
What a dick.
And that's where he and I fell apart too, so I agree. He started turning my children. And those that would not willingly join him, he'd kill and then turn still.
Huh.
It was a wave of death. Cascading down from the north, I led what people I could away. Created an entire civilization for them. In a dimension that I ripped a hole into myself.
Wait. What's that one?
The one that just blew up not too long ago. Of course, while I was in there, that was the part of the story I never quite picked up on. Didn't get to witness that until I was much older. The war waged as Solomon's army traveled south, creating more soldiers for him as their every battle. It was nigh unstoppable. It's very difficult for the living to outnumber the dead in a war.
Unfortunately, when you kill, when the living kill a dead, it's not like the dead comes back to life.
And when they do come back to life and only add to the enemy's numbers, you can see the issue.
That's a pretty good trick, actually.
Oh, it was very effective, terrifyingly so. To the point that his father boiled over. He created the one thing that could stop everything. The Destroyer. The first creature he ever made. And after he laid it to rest and buried it, its skeleton remained, and every ounce of his fury and anger was channeled into that thing's body. And that was the monster that would have destroyed the whole world. The one that all of his children had to band together to just seal away. The very beast that you've been hunting this entire time. All because a father couldn't talk to his own son. So yes, raising children is very difficult and is full of many twists, turns, and surprises.
Can I switch back to alcohol, Asmo?
No, water.
No, that was too much information.
It's good, because if you're drinking, you would have had to re-listen to that again, but
brain
hungover.
hurts now.
No, water. Water.
Asmo, make me a perception check.
Why did you just eat all the booze immediately?
Asmo, perception check.
I did it not go through?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Nara, you feel something kind of like tinking at the side of your knee beneath the bar. Beneath the bar, there is a small mage hand holding another lowball glass of that liquor.
Oh, against my leg?
Mm-hmm.
She takes it and immediately tries to, like, stealth drink it.
Perception check from Asmo.
You can give me another one. You didn't notice the mage hand. But yeah, go ahead and give me a stealth, Nara, and Asmo another perception check. Or actually, this would be sleight of hand for Nara.
Okay, this will be funny.
9.
19.
You see her lift up a glass from beneath the bar.
Thank you. I could use a drink. Asmo just takes it out of her hand.
No.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just... Yeah, no, you don't need another one of these.
Tom just kind of looks at you, Nara, and just shrugs. I tried.
Thank you. I'll go one thing.
That pesky Nara.
And then he looks back to you, Wolfgang.
If it's any consolation, I feel like you're doing a better job than the alternative.
Letting the world go to rot for 30 years.
A bit better than that, I'd say.
I'd say anything's better than that. Well, maybe once all of this is done, the gods can sit down and have a proper chat, like adults.
Now that would be a sight to see.
Yeah. Preferably keep us out of the aftermath this time.
I feel like that's up to you. It has been quite some time since I've seen everybody's face in one place. Quite some time.
So what brought
indeed.
you here?
Oh, I heard there was some new management taking over the town. And I like being places where people are thirsty and where interesting things are happening.
Well, you come to the right place. If there's one thing workers like after a hard day's work, it's a cold drink.
That they do.
He smiles as he takes some money from one of the passing by servants and puts it in his till.
That they do.
I know once all this is over, I'm gonna drink myself unconscious.
And I'll be here to pick up the tab. Well, here to charge you for all the liquor to drive you unconscious. That one.
And I'll probably be able to pay it.
I'd hope so.
Here's hoping he knocks a little bit off the payment at the end of this. By the way, you got a new blacksmith over there, and I put him under the tab here.
You look over to where Broken Stone Knuckle is sitting, and he's about 4 or 5 ales deep.
Well, that's nothing to him.
Yeah, no, he's a dwarf. He can handle that.
I'm assuming that's how he remains hydrated at this point.
Yeah, he's like a quarter. He's like a quarter of the way there. You start to hear the sound of a large bell clanging from outside. Clong, clong, clong. As people go to check, like they open the door and look out, the bell seems to be resonating from the grounds of the Kylum Diaboli. Clong, clong, clong.
Since Wolfgang and I have been here for a while, what does that bell usually mean?
It's not like a warning klaxon or anything like that. This is... It simply sounds like, to you, as the evening has worn on, that it's about time that Venariel is just trying to summon people for whoever wants to be there for the soul releasal ceremony.
That's my call. Gotta get going. Venario's calling.
It's my cue too.
Should we? Do you need us there for the event?
I'm looking at Nara. I'm wondering what level of drunk Nara's at.
She's not drunk.
Not gonna.
She's like tipsy, maybe like a little wobbly legged at worst.
That's just a hot
Be
mess.
undrunk so fast. One quick dip and I'm good.
Okay, so we'll come with you.
Great.
Okay. Nara sprints for the stairs to go up to the galaxy bath.
What? He tries to stop her, and he just gets carried away.
The galaxy pool is on. It's on the first floor. The upper level is more of an inn.
It just makes a break for it.
You make your way back there, and the pool is sitting there as usual. But as you all sober up and head over to the ceremony grounds, here is where we will take a break. Hey guys, Lani here. I just wanted to thank you for rolling with us. And if you wanted to catch us live, you can do so almost every Monday at 5 o'clock Central Time over on twitch.tv/Lanipator. Now, back to the show. As you travel back in through town, the staff of the Kylum Diaboli is waiting outside of the Kylum gates. Asmo, you are surprised to see a familiar face amongst the faculty. One of the assassins that you had previously tangled with, the one you knew as Smoke, the one that Wolfgang knows as Talia, is amongst their ranks right about now. This was the one that you fought in the sewers.
Okay, so I have to ask a lot of clarification then on this one, essentially, because if I had not seen them, then I would assume this is an assassination attempt and would immediately jump to attack them, essentially. So has something occurred that I would know that that's not the case?
I don't believe Wolfgang is... She is standing, peacefully, and nobody seems to be the wiser that she's there, but...
Assassins can hide in plain sight. It's just... That's why I'm kind of just... Okay, I don't know how to react to this. I'm gonna hope Wolfgang shakes their hand or something, because about the fight that Asmo had with them, was Wolfgang even there for that?
Yeah. The last time you guys fought were when they ambushed the caravan carrying all of the stones.
That's when Wolfgang fired her from the Kylum.
Yeah, we were all there for that.
How far away are they right now?
As you're walking up the street, you probably would have been able to figure out who she was about 40 yards out.
I don't know if Asco can make out somebody from 40 yards, so...
Not without depth perception, maybe, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, like, while you're still out of earshot of them, or at least you assume you're still out of earshot, you're able to see her.
Asmo's
And
like literally...
the memory is even more clear as you have
sorry. You cut out?
I was gonna say the memory is even more clear to you as the mantle of the wraith is on your person, so it's just all the more familiar.
Sorry, the memory of the witch, you cut out again.
The memory that you had fighting this person.
Oh, okay.
It's just more familiar due to the fact that you are in possession of the mantle of the wraith that you had the first time you had met them.
Asmo was just going to continue maintaining eye contact, I guess, with them because it's suspicious.
They're just waiting. She hasn't even like really made eye contact with you just yet, or she's just casually talking to one of the other people there, a young girl that you don't really recognize, young half elf.
I do recognize her, or I don't recognize them?
You don't really. Like,
Okay.
It was somebody that you might have seen around the Kylum Diaboli, but not anybody that you'd be able to put a name to.
Okay.
Sure enough, as you get a little closer, they do acknowledge that you're there, and Pogan will wave. Looks like it's just about ready!
Good.
And as you get closer, the lady will notice you, Asmo. Oh. Still down an eye?
What are you doing here?
I work here now.
Asmo just one eye squints, and that's all Asmo has to say. To that,
About that.
arms crossed.
It's a school for killing monsters, and I know a thing or two about killing monsters, so I figured my skills would be useful. The lordship agreed. And she notices, she looks to you, Nara. Hi, it's been a while.
Gowling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She.
All right.
Met with a scowl.
Okay, then.
Not everything's gonna be friendly. Can't believe there's like subtle nuances to humanity.
Crazy.
Pogan looks up. So shall we make the rest of our way there, then?
Suppose so. I'm eager to get this over with, honestly.
Aye. It'd be a nice little load off the mind. I made sure to let everybody cordon off an area for all of us. You lot specifically, but you know. I don't do very good when it comes to crowds and being able to see everything, so I figured I'd make my way in there as well.
Fair enough.
As you make your way back, a sizable crowd has gathered in the courtyard between... I guess it's a very large... Yeah, the very large yard between the once cannon tower and the Kylum's campus. The space that used to hold Barristan Kench's hedge maze, which had not only been razed to the ground, but now the grounds themselves have been cleared to make room for basically field exercise
How much
space.
did you drink?
Not enough. As you get closer, you see Jamat and Elliot as you make your way through the crowd, who are standing up in the cordoned off area. A small constructed stage, basically, where the lot of you will be able to stand, and the Kylum staff behind you. The crowd's just kind of like murmuring about, and as you approach, Venariel steps away from the large crystal that's sitting beneath this parapet-like stage. Makes her way up the stairs towards you. So the preparations are all done, and everything should be ready to go.
You seem a bit uncertain.
Well, this has never been done before. So there's a lot of variables that are untested. Not many soul gems like this have been constructed, especially not so monstrously.
Ugh.
But with
How?
preparation- Go ahead.
If you could give me an estimate on how likely this is to succeed.
I'd give it...
Or... Go on.
With this untested ritual, there's maybe a 5% chance of complications.
Okay.
What sort of complications could we see?
Well, when we're talking about the souls of the dead, there could be hauntings, possessions. If any of them are particularly vengeful or powerful, maybe something even more destructive.
Oh, is Pogan still there?
Yeah, he's standing behind you and listening in.
I want members of the Kylon to be at the ready in case something goes wrong.
Of course, sir. You want me standing on the ground, sir?
Yeah, well, Wolfgang,
Just in case.
do you need us to do anything?
Just be ready in case something goes wrong, or in case someone tries to sabotage this.
Asmo just like keeps himself in a moment of cat-like reflex. Just
Does Nara know anything about? Because she read up on things relating to this before, right?
You could give me an Arcana check with advantage. But what is it specifically that you're trying to figure out?
Just my thought process is she's been around Solomon when he deals with people dying and undeath and souls and that kind of thing. So I didn't know if she would have any tips or tricks for them to deal with the release of a soul kind of thing like this.
It's not so much the release of a soul, but the release of
in this
hundreds
scenario
of them.
Right. But he also has like an entire army of the undead, so him doing his stuff.
Like I said, you can give me an Arcana check with advantage.
17.
All of the possibilities of things she just said, they can happen, especially if the soul is angry enough or powerful enough to manifest. And in this case, all of the souls within the gem were those of sorcerers, so they are probably more powerful than the average soul in terms of pure arcane might. So yeah, there is a chance that if these souls are still angry or are not at peace in the slightest, they will, a number of them could potentially rebel or haunt or possess.
Okay. So everything she said, basically.
Yeah.
I'm just affirming yeah, that sounds right.
That said, as you have a certain power and command over the forces of death, you might be in a position of anybody here to possibly guide these souls the way they need to go.
And we did give Lady Death a heads up that they were coming in a previous session.
He holds up Tango Muerte, shakes it a little bit.
Hey, it's about go time for this whole Soul Palooza thing. You ready?
You can give me a charisma
Wait.
check.
Where are you at, Charisma? What you? 23.
You get the sense that a lot of this is, like, you get the feeling that this isn't really in the hands of Lady Death. Everything that is of the realm of Earth, like of the mortal plane, isn't exactly something that she has any way to, like, reach or affect. So, if anything, what you have a sense of is you get this feeling that if anything happens that needs to be dealt with by death, it's your responsibility, as you are the only proxy she has in this area.
You mean it's gonna be my problem?
You get a strong sense of disappointment when you say the word problem.
Works? None of this working out was fair. You can't be upset about me saying that. Fine, we'll work on it, all right?
Were you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Mother Death.
Okay, Ash just realizes he shouldn't have stepped into that and just walks away. Oh.
Fine, yes.
Turns back to Tango Muerte.
Fine, yes, I will handle this present situation with all the grace and whatever that I'm supposed to. Happy?
As Daenerys walks past... Go ahead.
You get the sensation of somebody, like, you get this strong sensation of somebody rolling their eyes but accepting.
We're gonna have to work on this, I can tell.
As Daenerys walks behind Nara, he kind of says to her, compared to being stuck inside that crystal and the otherwise, this is a great mercy to them.
Yeah, see? Mercy. I'm helping.
Well, are you prepared and ready? Venariel looks to the lot of you.
As I'll ever be.
Let's do this.
Daenerys, if you would take your position, and she kind of points to one end of the field, or one, like, kind of one corner of the gem, and Venariel starts making her way down. The crowd begins to hush around you as Venariel kind of, like, raises her hands, and the torchlight all around you begins to flicker and kind of, like, dim. Sorry, I'm trying to find this. There it is. The gem begins to glow faintly at first, as it starts to pick up in luminance. Daenerys, give me an arcana check.
Very well.
As you begin to feel this pulse of energy ebbing from the gem.
Oh! Nat 20, 33!
Oh, yes!
And as you have been preparing for, you start to force your consciousness, your will towards this, using the magics that you know from the dream realm to kind of like tap into the consciousness within the stone itself. You hear a cacophony of voices wailing, screaming, and with a gentle hand you begin to kind of like soothe the minds of all of the souls as the gem begins to glow brighter and brighter. Venariel begins to chant ancient words of power as the glyphs around the gem begin to glow one by one. The mages that she brought with her, each of them cloaked and kind of in a circle around you, Denier, and this gem, they begin to chant as these runes light up. The gem begins to pulse brighter and brighter. You begin to see wisps, faint clouds of green energy kind of trickle forth from the crystal. Almost like a fog is ebbing out of it. And as this fog spills from the crystal and touches the circles, or the circle of runes around it, the fog begins to pool at the base and begins to rise. The crystal itself begins to kind of tremble as this fog continues to rise up and up towards the crest of the crystal. One after another, wisps begin to rise out of the center of this fog and start to swirl in the air. To you, they look like little motes of light with like a little trailing tail. Those that have spent time in the woods with tricky spirits would recognize these as will-o-wisps. Every now and again, you glance at one and you think for a moment you see a face. Women, men, some of children. They begin floating upward as the gems begin, or as the runes begin to kind of crackle, trying to contain all of this energy that is starting to pour forth. More and more of these wisps begin piling out. The runes themselves begin to fade as the spirits start to break forth from that boundary and start to spill outward. Wolfgang and Nara, go ahead and give me Arcana checks.
Well, here we go. Okay.
Oh boy. All right. Just straight, no advantage or anything?
No advantage, just straight Arcana checks.
Okay. 12.
10.
Your attempts to contain these spirits to your vicinity kind of goes unheeded, as your arcane knowledge on the subject just is not up to snuff. As these spirits begin to kind of like twirl out and trickle out over the crowd, you begin to feel a pull, Nara. Like this, there's this wave of energy, like this wind kind of circling and almost like it's like a vortex swirling around you. I want you to make me a charisma check.
Oh, okay. 16.
You feel this energy swirl around you, and you reach out, and one of the spirits begins to fly down towards you, followed by another and another, as they begin to kind of like encircle you. As more and more of them begin to do this, it looks as though Nara is cloaked in what would appear to be like a neon green sort of cowl that kind of like drapes around her and spins about. It's like this massive wave of a cloak, and as you raise your hand up, the spirits begin to drift upward into the sky, up towards the moon, which is now scar, like the scar side of the moon is facing down towards you. This trail of spirits begins wafting up into the sky, kind of creating this path down, like upwards from the crystal down to Nara, and then they shoot upwards towards the moon, one after another. At your best count, you'd say there was maybe 150 souls. And as they drift further and further into the sky towards the moon, they begin to look nothing more than a constellation as the crystal begins to dim out. And the crystal returns to rest. The crowd sits silent for a moment. Nothing seems like it's gone wrong.
Doesn't seem like it's gone wrong.
Doesn't seem like it. Every spirit that poured forth from that gem looks like it made its trail up towards the moon. You can still kind of see the flickering tail end of a few of them as they're making their way upward.
Can I, since I felt that pull of spirits, can I sense if there are any more lingering?
I'd say that would be a straight wisdom check.
Okay. 17?
There doesn't appear to be anything lingering about. You do get a sense of satisfaction.
From Tango?
Yeah.
Holds up, kind of holds Tango up.
See, it was fine.
Venariel lets out a sigh of relief. And the crowd finally starts to murmur amongst themselves. A lot of people just kind of muttering, "That was scary. What? Like, how did that? What was that? Did we know? What? Huh?
Huh?
Wolfgang will sort of approach. I assume they're standing on like a stage or an elevated position or something.
Yeah, you're on a stage.
People of Silver Rock.
And the crowd once again goes quiet, listening to you.
Let this moment serve as a reminder. The souls that were just released, tortured, mostly innocent, and used for material gain, to establish power at the expense of others. That won't be my Silver Rock. That won't be your Silver Rock any longer. We must, all of us, whatever we may be, stand together and united. And we mustn't fall back on our baser instincts.
You see people in the crowd nodding, some of whom look to be people from Wild's Edge who are bandaged up, but were well enough to make their way out here.
These long tortured souls finally released to the tender embrace of death after all this time. With this, we can finally, truly rebuild Silver Rock. And let the sins of our predecessors fall away, and look forward to a prosperous and free future.
Give me a persuasion with advantage.
14?
Is that performance or persuade?
Oh, that's performance. Hang on.
Yeah.
They're both the same, though.
Ah.
It'd be the same modifier.
All right. So do you want to take that performance roll, or do you want to try for the persuasion?
I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So
No. Can I give him advantage by slow clapping?
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
either way.
I'll let you keep the 14. I'm not going to be that guy.
Okay.
It starts with kind of like a trickle at first, but you get the slow clap, and people begin to cheer and chant Silver Rock, and you get the sense that people are now going to treat this evening as basically your Independence Day. God, we worked that in there.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is the the Scarward moon, Scarward half moon facing toward you is now going to be the night of Silver Rock's renewal.
Hot damn. New holiday established.
Yeah. Work that around. So yes, you have now established a day of memorial and reverence in Silver Rock. From here, days and days kind of begin to pass as the city itself is starting to get put together. The Kylum starts to come together. I'd say like this over the course of like another 2 weeks is what's going to be happening here. Over the course of that first week, that tree you planted is now absolutely massive. Sitting in the middle of that field that you had planted it. It is garnered a lot of attention from the locals. Some people are wondering if this had anything to do with the spirits you let loose. There are people that are beginning to form essentially like small religions around it. Thinking that the spirits themselves planted this tree and that it grew so tall in order to try to reach the moon. So yeah, you got a lot of people that are now just fascinated with this tree. It's a beautiful, massive oak. Absolutely gargantuan. It stands at the very least, and still growing, by the way, 50 feet tall.
Oh my. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, what were you gonna ask?
I was gonna say if several days have passed, or days or weeks.
Let's say you're at the week mark at this point.
Okay. Nara would have spent the last week learning Draconic.
Do you have resources that allow you to do that?
Library, I would imagine.
It's available in every town.
It's not a particularly well-stocked library in this town that once burned down.
Well,
then she would have gone. Bahoom is there, right?
Nope.
He's in
all dragons are not here.
Oh, but
Drinking like a-
Harash is? I mean, she would have
Nope.
gone if Harash...
Harash left. Harash
Oh,
left at the
fudge
beginning of the
butts.
session.
No.
I think
He ducked you.
she just wants to pick up another language, is what I'm saying. So she wants to start, like, she got a taste with learning Sylvan, and now she's like, I want to know more.
Languages.
It'll take more than a week to pick up a language. I'll
Oh, I
say,
know. Just like
and
picking a language to try and start studying.
go ahead and give me an investigation check just to see if you can find resources in order to study it.
Okay.
Because what I was going to ask
16.
you, I'd say you were able to order one and it is on its way. There are a lot of trade supplies that you guys have had to make requests for and order out for, and this book is one of them, but it's not super high on the priority list.
These travel carts never show up on time.
What I was going to ask was, in terms of priority, I know that you were thinking of ways to try to get down into the maw. Did you have anything that you would have tried to start setting up for that?
Oh, yeah. How many wyverns are in the area?
None.
Where
any
would
given
wyverns
time?
be?
Maybe way out to the west where the big fuck-off dragon is.
Then how would Nara learn how to fly herself and fast? And or make the pixie stick much faster?
I feel like this is where she mentioned Kaji. Other Asmo know how to do it. Okay, I don't even know who that guy was. Okay, and he sounds.
There might be ways to speed up the pixie stick, but it would require components that you don't presently have. Learning to fly yourself, I mean, you could always try to learn the spell fly, but that takes some doing as well.
No. I guess she would see about, intel gathering, trying to see who knows about the Maw, and figuring out where the guide is as well.
All things that are kind of difficult to do in the city itself. I mean, you can put out feelers. You can ask around. Unfortunately, the one person that you'd want to ask in terms of trying to figure out how to track people in the Underdark would be Talia.
Oh.
Oh no! Oh no! But we big leagued her.
Fine. If she discovered that Talia was the only way she was going to learn about how to traverse the Underdark, she will begrudgingly go talk to her.
All right. Asmo, you have a standing army at your command.
How many? Okay, so how many people are we talking about here? That's my big question.
You started with about 100 people, which are currently mostly acting as town guards. There has been no delineation between the standing military and the guardship, so
Same. So it's under the same. So pretty much same.
at the moment they're all under the same banner,
Okay.
which is a little problematic because militant
Yeah.
force isn't always good for peacekeeping.
No,
So,
they're not designed for occupation. They're designed for moving.
Yeah.
You need different forces for occupation.
That said, as people have begun to heal from Wild's Edge, you've added another 20 people to your ranks. So
I added a witch to my ranks.
you have another 20 people in the standing military's ranks. You'll
Well,
need to decide how many of those you wish to divide in terms of how many will serve as town guards and how many will actually be in the military itself.
I think I'm gonna have to ask you a question outside of the game.
No worries,
regarding-
that can be figured out.
Well,
later.
I gotta promote some guys first of all, because the key thing is I don't want to manage 100 people. I want to manage 4 guys who each manage 25 guys apiece. It's way easier.
Yep. Gonna need to figure that shit out.
Oh, this is bad. This is why I play way too many city sims. I'm worried. What's our wood supply looking like? Do we have enough tools?
Well, luckily, since the entire forest next to you got bombed to shit, scrap wood has been pretty easy to come by.
Well, that's fine. We need to start planting forestry trees so we can start regrowing the forest and then cut down the precious wood.
Oh, good thing you have a giant tree that is literally a beacon for the god of nature if you wish to speak to him.
Myself?
I
I wouldn't even know what to ask the son of a bitch.
I mean, it takes the form of a cat, so I'm not even going to give
No,
credit
no,
for that one.
I know. It's like, where do you even begin?
Denier, in the meanwhile, the tower has been better set up to help facilitate the teaching of young mages and possibly even sorcerers. You've been working with the same rune set that you learned from Ramses to help suppress these powers and make them a bit more manageable for those that are the arcane innate. Minariel and her cadre of mages have been helping you set that up, but her time is often being split helping Wolfgang to better manage and set up this town. Her skills as essentially Tia's clerk and handmaiden has really given her a lot of experience in running day-to-day operations in places like this, especially in a city that's maybe a quarter the size of Dragon's Rest in terms of population.
I keep forgetting Dragon's Rest is not a giant city. Like, it's a big city, but not like metropolitan.
Yeah.
One thing that Denier would bring up to at least the party is with the notice of the tree and how a lot of people are treating the tree. He does know of a dryad that he could offer the tree as a home for some additional protection and nature protection for the city if the party wants. We don't know how. Go ahead.
No. Keep going.
Granted, things in the overgrowth are pretty bad, which is one of the reasons why he's wanting to at least speak to everybody about the offer. Granted, a dryad in a city might not be super great, but if this place is getting turned into a park, and a lot of people are becoming more religious towards the tree, it might be useful to have somebody that might be able to speak for the tree.
People do tend to treat this tree with a lot of reverence, and there are some ground workers who are currently, trying to turn that place into a nice little park, especially now that the tree offers so much shade.
What's it saying?
It has a lot to say about your jokes.
So what do you guys think? Should we offer a dryad, basically the tree to live in, and for services to the city?
Well, we should definitely hear some references about what other trees they've lived in.
Most of them are probably destroyed by now.
Yeah. I do need to get a re-up of this. I do need to get a re-up of this map with the cataclysmic crater where the overgrowth
where Lone Throne was.
Plus, who better to grow yum berries and giant's fruit than a dryad?
Oh, delicious! Just
pretty much. A bit bigger.
Does specifically Wolfgang, Connor, does Wolfgang have any kind of problems, or does Wolfgang see any kind of issues with this as to why it shouldn't happen?
Well, I wasn't given the bloody acorn, but
that sounds like a metaphor.
An Irish metaphor, yes.
I wasn't given the bloody acorn.
I wasn't given the bloody acorn.
Oh my god.
But
giant brown circle.
No, I don't have a problem with it. It's not going to interfere in the purpose of the tree being there.
I
Nara
mean,
shrugs.
she's one of. I mean, what does the? I mean, she wouldn't like become the tree, but she kind of would. So it'd be like a physical manifestation of the tree. So she might be able to give us more insight as to what the tree can do. It might enhance the tree.
We can learn the tree stat block.
Well, I'm sure it's well within. I'm sure it's well within Fleetfoot's power to rearrange things as necessary. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Just dryads, they can might need to give people fair warning before they, you know.
They get very defensive of their tree.
Yes.
They can be a bit wooden with social interactions.
Well, need a.
No. No.
Yeah, you're right. I should be more bark than bite.
I will
Oh,
smell.
she's falling through the internet. How the fuck are you doing that?
That's how I do things.
So Denier would, over the course of the week, as he's beginning to work on the school and everything like that, he is going to, make sure that the folks that are coming to the garden a heads up on what's going on. He's not going to just toss it on everybody, but he's going to give the garden goers a heads up, kind of let them know what's going on, let them know that there's going to be a guardian brought in to the garden to protect the garden and everything like that. Before he would have a little ceremony when he would summon the dryad that he has made a contract with and offer her a position to stay at the tree, knowing everything that's going on.
Did I ever give that dryad a name?
I think it was Ligra or Liara or something along those lines.
There was one
Go
called
with it.
Orange Blossom.
No, that's
Or
my
that
that's
was
my
a
pixie.
fairy. Yeah, that's a
Ah.
My
Different
elf,
magical creature.
my elf is Hackless. My dryad is Liara or Lyra. It started with an L. My pixie is Orange Blossom, and my satyr. Everybody knows who my satyr is.
Fuck yeah!
Thank you, Jimby.
Anytime, boss! Pops away. Poof.
The hell is that? Why do you
That's
sound like me?
that's Jimby. He's my anger translator.
Fuck Lord!
Asshole just kind of nods and goes, yeah, that works for what he is.
Why do we sound the same?
What?
Probably not.
Maybe because your accent came from the Feywild. Maybe the Connollys are more akin to the Fey than you realize.
Wolfgang sort of looks down and strokes his beard. Huh. All the crazy powers thing really kind of overshadowed our actual family history. Huh. Might be worth looking into after all this is over.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure that some of your family has the promiscuous nature of the satyrs.
Oh, please. Didn't hear
Oh, it's true.
That's
They
the
fuck
last-
a lot of people.
That is the last thing I want to be thinking about right now.
Or creatures. I guess I can't call them people. That's
Well, a lot of
Not
satyrs in
right.
here. I'm gonna assume that's all you'd be able to see and think
yeah.
about.
Right?
So I'll say it will probably be a process to get Liara to be basically to take residence in this tree, as it would kind of be along the same lines of trying to permanently enchant something, because you constantly have to use your spell to summon her. So you're
Correct.
basically trying to move her to a new place. So this will be a process.
That's acceptable. Plus, it helps the fact that, if she's there, we would be able to have better assistance growing, like I said, yum berries and giant fruit, which would help with our food situation massively.
So I'd say in your first week of doing this, after you've made your efforts to start moving her over. She'd be very nervous around any people that pop in. Like she'd hide herself within the tree, either up in its branches or anywhere she could like hide from actual people that came by to just kind of like spend time like reading under the tree or spending time in its shade. She's doing her best to hide, but in that week, a field of wild flowers begins to grow kind of like just over where the tree's roots are at its base, and it begins to spread out more and more. By the end of the first week, summoning her there once a day to try to acclimate this process, small berry bushes have also started to crop up at the very base of the tree.
How tall do you think it's going to grow?
Hard to say at this point. At this point of its height, it's hard to track it and say it's growing day by day. But if you don't pay attention to it for a few days and then look back, it's still clearly growing little by little, more and more. It's 20 feet. Like it hasn't quite reached that 20-foot radius that
like
you
a
were
video
warned
game
about
tree.
previously. So you know it still has a bit of a ways to grow. But it is over 50 feet tall at the moment. Let's see. Wolfgang.
Yes.
Your workers have essentially constructed the... now that like the mages are no longer having to work on the ritual, the speed of construction has sped up significantly with the addition of the mages to the effort. So the Kylum Diaboli, the Kylum Diaboli itself has finally been fully and truly constructed. The interior still needs to be furnished, but the school's grounds are pretty much ready to open as soon as that's done. And you've been no doubt working along with your faculty to prepare for the occasion. You have a number of people who are very interested in joining. At first, like your inaugural class is going to be 40 people.
Whoa.
Yeah, you'll have 40 cadets. Not all of whom are probably going to be worthy of making it, but it's a good turnout for this as you're setting up a new homestead here. For their little Toby Smith, who is still assisting with construction here and there, has begun working with Broken. Broken knows that he has a lot to teach this boy, but he's doing his best to aid whenever he's done with his construction projects. And of course, Sergeant Sniffs has been chasing stray cats.
Sounds about right.
Good boy. There he is.
Orf. Orf, 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 orf.
Borf, borf, borf.
The Wandering Weasel, of course, has stayed open and is just doing booming business.
Oh, I'm going to
with
assume
all
they're
of
doing great.
Yeah, with all of the workers that are here trying to get things set up and all the people that are slowly but surely getting out of triage that came here from Wild's Edge. The clerics that you have in town have been doing a good job healing people up. A lot of the families are... a lot of the people who are very thankful, those that are of working age, have started to assist in other construction projects and have some of them have looked to join the Kylum, some of them have looked to join the town guard and the military. These efforts all continue onward when you are greeted by a messenger from Dragon's Rest, or he at least appears to be wearing the military uniform of the Dragon's military. Your lordship.
Yes.
I have
urgent news from the king. There's a large portion of refugees from the north.
What?
I had a feeling this might happen.
They're in need of assistance, but as of right now, we are not being given passage to enter the north. To aid them. We've received messages, but they've left their gates sealed. It's concerning.
I can only imagine what might be preventing messages from getting back.
We've heard
Let alone magical interference.
what messages we have received are things appear dire. Villages, whole villages at a time have been going missing.
Going missing?
He just nods.
Daenerys glances over towards Wolfgang. The mist, remember? My latest messages to Silver Rock have been all silent, no responses. Cold Reach, my apologies.
If the military is not going to let these refugees pass, we're not sure what we can do. We have men stationed at the wall ready for the worst, but
There's no information about when these people disappear.
all we know is that there's a group of refugees north of the wall. But we have no way of getting to them.
We might have one way. I'm not happy about it.
They say a lot of refugees are not even giving a specific number.
We don't have accurate numbers, I'm afraid.
I know
Gone into a sovereign.
They need food.
Sending reconnaissance into a sovereign nation is difficult.
But we're at peace.
We are, but if they choose to keep their borders closed,
Who's sovereign in the north again?
The Archmage. And I whisper to her, technically.
Technically?
It's the whole thing with...
What?
Fuck, his name's still in my mind. It's the whole thing with Ramses.
So the Archmage is like a puppet and stuff, and...
Well, no. Well,
Yeah.
yes, but not to Ramses. Just...
Wait. If all these people are disappearing, how do these refugees make it out?
they haven't. They're trapped. We're only receiving messages.
Right, but I mean, like, to the wall.
They're north of the wall.
Wait, the villages in the north are disappearing, or...
That's what he's. Yes. Right?
So-
That's what you said. The villages in the north are disappearing.
That's the messages we've been receiving, yes.
Yes.
So, right. If villages are disappearing, no trace, then how are there refugees?
Because
People are getting out before they go missing, I assume.
he just points at Wolfgang. I mean, it's
I have a couple ways for us to get in if we need to go.
I think we're thinking the same thing.
I know of at least 2 teleportation circles up north. I don't know if they're still operative. And I still have a scroll. I'd rather not use it, but if we have to use it, we have to use it.
And the men that are stationed at the wall.
They've been standing at the ready. We have a message going out to try to further their numbers, but there are 80 strong standing and securing the wall now. Much more than we used to have in the past, as from what I understand, you know from experience.
Yes. And they're ready to receive people, but nobody's coming through, is what you're saying.
Yes, the north, their fortress on the other side. Its gates have remained sealed. We tried to send messengers out, but
No one comes back.
well, they come back, but the most anything more we could do would be breaking those walls down, and that's an act of war.
Act of what?
An act of war.
Do we know if there are active guards on the other side of the maw, or is it an empty fortress?
Unclear. It seems like there's forces inside, but every missive we've sent has gone unresponded to.
Looks like we're traveling.
Let me check my spells and see if I have it prepared.
Technically, Nara's in charge of the maw, so...
Who gave the info about the refugees?
Of all people, a ghost.
What?
That makes sense, actually.
Went by the name of Marge, I believe.
Never heard of that name.
I
Killed a
popped
Marge
up-
once.
Just popped through a wall and scared the shit out of the boys.
Lenny, I would like to attempt to use one of my abilities.
Which one?
Blessings of Arcanos.
To what
So
end?
I don't have Scry prepared today, but I want to use Blessings of Arcanos to attempt to cast Scry.
All right. Give me a charisma check, I believe, is our rule for that.
Charisma check DC 15. Ooh, 19!
All right. To what are you attempting to scry?
I can either scry a person or a location. I am casting Scry we were in the other fortress previously. So I cast Scry inside of normally the most densely populated room in that fortress to attempt to see if there are actual people there or if it is completely empty.
You haven't been to many rooms in that particular fortress, so I'll say that probably the best place that you'd think to do so would be the courtyard.
Okay. Then I will have an above shot of the courtyard, and I will go ahead and cast Scry. And since it's an area and not a person, I have a static view, but it doesn't require a DC.
All right. As you look down into the courtyard. 1 second here. Let me find the appropriate sounds. Not that one. As you look down into the courtyard, it seems to sit almost empty. There appears to be a few armored figures resting against a couple of walls. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okie doke. Perception 13.
The space itself, you see the black armored figures kind of like shift a little. They don't appear dead. There is... I mean, it's odd the way they move, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't seem natural. And all you can see beyond them, just slowly kind of like shifting and like leaning up against the wall every now and again, are the dark stone bricks, the metal that kind of like holds and frames a lot of the doorways and the walls, and a kind of like green moss that that's kind of like covering some of the walls.
So they're shifting strange. Is there any...
as if like it's leaning against the wall for like they're leaning against the wall for a moment, then they kind of like shift upright, and then they just kind of like lean back against the wall with the other shoulder.
Okay, so likely like an undead or a zombie wouldn't normally do that, so I can...
Yeah, they'd normally kind of shamble about.
And I have 10 minutes, so I'm going to watch these two for about 10 minutes, trying to figure out any clues that I can.
All right, give me another perception check as you're watching.
Okay. Come on, Denier. 25.
Their behavior seems to persist. Just shift, 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 shift. And as you get kind of into like the rhythm of what they're doing, you notice something else slowly kind of like moving as they do. There's this, like some of that moss that you saw, it kind of like pulses and shifts as they move.
Almost like the moss is controlling them like puppets.
Possibly, or vice versa. Hard to say. But it looks as though like the moss kind of like shifts and moves, and as you begin to focus more on the moss, you see it kind of like creep up and over a doorway, kind of like growing a little as it does, eking down the other side of the doorway. And it takes a while for it to do that. So your vision begins to fade as you're taking notice of that.
And Denier comes...
I was going to say, and as your vision fades from this scenario, your mind reeling with possibilities, here is where we'll end today's session.